Shalom, Shabbat.
Shalom. Shalom.
Try that again. Shalom, Shabbat.
Shalom.
Excellent. I think somebody wanted to continue teaching this week. But this morning, as I was getting ready for our beautiful Shabbat services, my lovely wife brought me a big muffin, chocolate muffin, a lot of sugar, so that she'd be able to continue the teaching this week. But that was a wonderful teaching that we had last week in Genesis chapter 29. It was really something else to be able to have someone who could step in at the appointed time to continue the teaching that we had. But this week we're going to be in Genesis chapter 30. Genesis chapter 30. And we're going to start right around about verse 1. Right, Uncle Lewis?
Right.
Now I can look straight at you guys and at the camera instead of have to keep looking over this way. Genesis chapter 30 and verses 1. We're going to see in verse 1 something very interesting just in the first verse. It says, "And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die." Okay? Right there in that very first verse is where we have conflict. Because that is not what was said. This is the way it's supposed to be read. "And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, she envied her sister." And jump down to verse 4. "And she gave him Bilhah, his handmaiden, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her." In verse 1, we have two different documents, if you're looking at the document thing. You have the Y document, and you have the E document. Okay? You see that in verse 1? You have two different documents there. So the part that says, "And said unto Jacob," in verse 1, "Give me children or else I die," that's a whole different story coming from a different document. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
So, if we read it the way it's supposed to be read, and we go back up and look at, I got some questions as I was studying chapter 30, and hopefully y'all will be able to help me with it. Because at this juncture, we see that Leah, the first wife, already have 4 children. She have Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Yehuda. Right? 4 children she have already. And Rachel have none. Now, isn't it interesting that the persons that named these children were not Jacob? Who named them? Not even the handmaiden named them. And we're going to see what their names mean because of the circumstance that the mothers were going through at that particular time. The first one. Yes, Uncle Luke.
Okay, so both mothers named the children, just one mother.
Leah and Rachel.
Okay.
And we're going to see Leah named the first 4. And the reason why she named the first one Reuben was what? What does Reuben mean?
Sorry.
Look, see a son. She have a son. So what she named him? Reuben. The second one was Simeon. And what did she say concerning Simeon when he was born?
She said, again, she can
Read it for me, Dr. Scott.
She called him Simeon because she said, because I am just like someone hurt. So she named him her. Someone heard a prayer. Because she was this line.
And that's in chapter 29, verse 33. Says she conceived again because I had heard, and I was hated, and he therefore given me this son also. So she called his name. The name means hearing. Shimeon. And then she conceived again and bare a son. And this time she said, now this time my husband will be joined to me. Right? She think because she had the third son for him that she'll become the favorite. So she named him what? Levi or Levi, and the name means to be attached. Right? I'm glad that he didn't say, listen, I don't want to have nothing to do with you, and I'm going to destroy this family. Because then she would have named him Saddam. The name means destroyer. Okay? So we see the first three there, and then she conceived again in verse 35 of chapter 29. And she said, now will I praise Ahiah. Therefore she called his name what? Yehudah. Which means what? Praise. Now again, we have the mothers are the one who are naming these children. And we've been taught, and listen to me carefully, Leah wasn't no Hebrew. Rachel wasn't no Hebrew. Bilhah or Zilpah was not Hebrews. And they didn't speak the same language. You know how we know that? Because a little bit further, when Jacob called the place Gilead, Laban called it something totally different that means the same thing. So we have now the forefathers, the 12 tribes, will be these women that were not Hebrews are the ones that naming them. And the name was given to them because of the condition that they were going through at that time. Even the handmaidens did not give them their names. It was still Rachel and Leah going through this war, this struggle with each other. So now in chapter 30, when it said, Rachel saw that she was barren, that she bare Jacob no children, she envied her sister. Yet she had the love of the husband. Because we know that Jacob loved her more. Why did he love her more? A lot of times, listen to me carefully, a lot of times we love things that we have no business loving. We put things that we put in our own lives is not good for us. The Most High didn't give it to us. But we covet those things. And this is where we're going to see where Jacob is going to have trouble. Listen to this good now. I'm just going to read the E document with the Y document. And she said, give me children, else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, am I Elohim instead, who have withheld thee from the fruit of your womb? What is when a person cannot bear a child? And I know we'll probably get emails, and I'm so glad I don't read no emails. So send them on, Letitia can read them. What is a curse? The curse is the closing up of the womb. Now, in today's society, people don't want to hear that. When you can't have children, that is not just something that happened. The Most High is the only one that could open a womb, and the only one that could close it. Now listen to this, verse 3. And she said, now look, my maid, her servant girl, is Bilhah. Go unto her, and she will bear upon my knees, and that I may also have children by her. Don't this sound familiar? Sarah and who? Same thing. You notice now, Sarah was also what? Barren. A curse. Just like when Ahiah sent Abimelech and all the people, and he closed up all the womb. What did he send upon them? A curse. And here Jacob, Rachel had this gun to his head, saying, Jacob, go ahead, and here's my handmaid. And she made me do it. Now listen, if she wanted a child by Bilhah, so that she could have one too, they had one, and then she conceived again. Verse 4 says, and she gave him Bilhah, her handmaiden, to wife. And Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Elohim have judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son. Therefore she called his name what? Dan. Dan, judge. And Bilhah said, but I don't want to call him that. It's my child. Hold on. Does anybody find it interesting that he said, and he gave her Bilhah to be his wife? Not a concubine?
That was strange.
Did she have any say-so in this?
No.
Do you know what? When you are among the people and their customs, and where did they learn this from? Their people, their customs that were around them. You see, what we've done is we've made this story so nice, and the Hebrews are so great, and they never did nothing wrong. Listen to what's going on right here. This is the story where we will get a lot of people say polygamy is accepted. It's okay to have 2 wives and 2 concubines, as long as you could take care of them. That ain't true. That gets you into trouble. Now this guy already have how many children?
6.
6 now.
4 before Bilhah had 2 for him. By his wife Leah. He already had Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Yehuda. And now she have the first child by the handmaiden, and he's number 5. And Bilhah, verse 7, Rachel's maid conceived again. No mistake, was it? This wasn't just give me a child. Adopt one from Bilhah. This wasn't that. This was, let's have some more children. And she had a second son. Verse 8, and Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister. Hold on. Is this tit for tat?
That would seem like
You have 4, I don't have none, but I'm going to have 4. Because my handmaiden is going to give me as many children as I want. And you notice how they keep saying, and Elohim this, and Elohim. Verse 8, and Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. Did she?
Nope.
And she called his name what? Wrestling. Struggle. Naphtali. Verse 9. No, here Rachel see. Yes, Miss Quinn.
Didn't Jacob have anything to say about all this? Jacob was the wolf.
Jake wasn't saying nothing. Right? Let me tell you something. This is the reason why in the instructions he said don't marry a woman and a sister.
Thank you.
Don't marry a mother and her daughter. You know why? It says it's going to bring what? Confusion. It's going to bring struggle between them. And Jacob ain't said nothing yet. Maybe he was all praying. What y'all think?
Jacob was bad.
Jacob was a happy man.
Jacob was like, listen, y'all deal with it.
He has now
Just keep sitting. Let me know